It's time to start a honey harvest. I've got a full super out there, 10 frames, medium-sized super, each frame full front and back with capped honey. So it's a 2-day process, and here's how we do it. The first step is to get your bee escape board, which is this piece of equipment. On this side you have just this hole, and on this side you've got this triangular shaped thing with gaps here, here, and here. So what happens, and then it's covered by this mesh. So what happens is I'm going to put this underneath the honey super in this orientation. So the honey super is going to lay on top of here. It's full of bees. And what this bee escape board does is it allows the bees over the course of about 24 hours to leave the honey super. They go down through this hole, they figure their ways out through these gaps, but it's hard for them to figure out how to get back in. And so over the course of 24 hours, all of those bees in the honey super are going to come down through the bee escape board into the lower bodies of the hive, and they won't go back up into the honey super. So when I come out in 24 hours, there should be significantly fewer bees in that honey super, and it'll be a whole lot easier to get those frames without causing too much stress or agitation to the bees. Please excuse the loud humming in the background. They're doing some utility work out in my yard. But here we are at the hive. So what we're gonna do, see, we've got 2 honey supers. I put this one on a week and a half or so ago because I was leaving town and they needed more room, and I didn't have time to do a honey harvest at that point. So what we're gonna do, so I just threw on another honey super to give them more room. We're gonna remove these 2 honey supers. This one is totally full to the gills. This is the one I'm gonna really focus on getting the honey out of. And I've got these 3 hive bodies. I'm gonna remove the queen excluder, which you see right here, and I'm gonna put that bee escape board in its place, put everything back together. We'll come back in 24 hours, and all of the bees from these 2 honey supers hopefully will have worked down into the main bodies of the hive, and these will be largely empty, much easier to harvest. Before we get any further, this is just looking at that honey super I put on like a week and a half ago. I just pulled this frame out, and I pulled a few frames out. This is the 6th frame in, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, nothing capped yet, but they are laying down a lot of honey. So I anticipate in a few more weeks, this honey super will be ready. This is the honey super I'm gonna harvest here. And just take a peek down inside and you can see this is why we use the bee escape board. This super, is just packed to the gills with bees, and you don't want to harvest, you don't want to start taking the honey when there's that many bees. They get protective of the honey, and it gets stressful for them and for the beekeeper. There we go. The bee escape board is in place in lieu of the queen excluder, which I've removed and put there. Okay, so the honey supers are on. Normally I would put an inner cover up here, but the inner cover has a secondary entrance into the hive, and I don't want bees to be able to come in to the hive from above. So I'm just going to put the outer cover on for the next 24 hours because it lays flush against the top of that super. And I'll see if I can just film that here while I'm doing it. There we go. So now wait 24 hours. It's been about 24 hours since I put that escape board on, so it's time to go pull those 2 supers. Okay, this one still has a lot more bees than I would like, but far fewer than if I hadn't put that escape board in. This is the one I'm harvesting. So I'm gonna take it over away from the hive and start going through and brushing out all of the bees. This is gonna start agitating them a bit. They're gonna realize something's going on that they don't like. And I don't want a whole hive of agitated bees close at hand. So you see, far fewer bees on each frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each frame, brush them off, and then I'm going to quickly get each frame into my house, away from the bees, so that they can't come back to the frame. So after bringing in all of those frames and then also bringing in the hive body, this is what we have. 10 frames ready to extract. I cleaned them up a bit. I'm not going to extract them now. I'm going to wait until that second honey super is ready to go, and then I'll do one big extraction.